Year-old, but my parents had a little home on Philwood. So.
What's your business in San Francisco?
Cafe Francisco.
Oh, there's one there. Okay.
The one here was based on that one.
That's Thomas.
I guess outside of that, how you start a business in San Francisco? I guess.
I have someone else that runs that one. And,
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the deal was I was doing this one with my family, and I was going to go back in 2 years, but I can't. I mean, I've just fallen in love with this community and the needs, and I'm a big fan of potential.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. I agree. I know.
And you know, I got a swift kick in the behind when they closed the pyramid, but
well, it looks like it's gonna come back.
I don't know. We'll see.
I know.
They're not saying anything.
No, say something. What do you? I want to hear. What are your
I mean,
thoughts
we've
on
got
pyramid
212 million
redevelopment?
going to it, right? Is that what it said today in the paper?
Yeah, I was there listening to what all they had to say. I was actually impressed with some of the council members. They asked some of the hard questions, and they wanted to delay it. But
What are the hard questions?
like, why does this have to be approved today?
Yes.
You know, if you have such urgency,
Who is
there's
pushing for it
something
to be
wrong.
approved?
Lipscomb and the mayor.
Yeah.
And only because they have to get the funding in place, and they have to meet with another board today to approve that. And so they had to have it approved yesterday. But I'm with the council, you know, because they apparently, several of them alluded to the fact that, I probably shouldn't say this on video, right?
No, it's,
But they alluded to the fact that they had just gotten the paperwork and really hadn't studied it. And now they want a decision. Reminds me of when I go and buy a car.
Man,
I'm starting
somebody
to
said that yesterday in the interview. Yeah, so you're not the first person
Okay,
to consider
good.
the interview. Yeah, somebody, actually 2 people mentioned it yesterday.
Right. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why I'm running, because the city has made decisions that have affected my livelihood. You know, I mean, when I closed the cafe, I closed it not because I wanted to, but because I literally was flat broke. You know, I just put everything I had in, you know, like waiting for things to turn around, and just one decision after another. You know, when I first went there was St. Jude, there was Harbor Town. I hadn't heard about Uptown yet, but it came shortly after. The convention center, pyramid. You had all these things, and it should have been ripe for development. And then they started construction on the convention center. And then when that opened, they closed down the pyramid, and it was just too much in flux. And these are, to me, poor planning, and I want to get involved. And even the cafe I'm trying to open now in my neighborhood, you know, supposedly they're throwing all these funds in the neighborhood. I've tried to apply for them. Well, it doesn't affect you. You know, the city, I feel, makes decisions. And I shouldn't say that they don't understand, but sometimes I wonder how involved the city council is in their community as far as business and that kind of. I think, I'm not sure I think Berlin Boyd is the small business owner, the one that's the interim. I'm not sure how many other business owners there are, but it affects business, it affects people, it affects neighborhoods, their decisions.
When those decisions were being made, were you a part of any organization that went to the city council and made a voice for the businesses in that area? And what was the result of that?
Well, I created the Pinch Business Association just for that reason. And it was to get the businesses to work together. Little did I know that some of the other businesses had long-standing feuds, like Hatfield and McCoy's. But most of the businesses came on board and were very supportive. What was interesting to me was the city didn't have any stakeholders in the Pinch on any of the boards. And we made a ruckus, but we weren't strong enough to do anything about it. It just, I think our voices were too small, like Hortons.
you have to keep going at them. I think.
Yes.
Once is definitely not enough.
Right.
They have to see you're organized. You got to keep coming
Right.
back and coming back.
And that is true. And we just,
Yeah. And it takes energy to do that.
it takes energy, it takes time, it takes
Right.
money, it takes all that stuff. And everybody was for doing that, but everything started to break down.
Right.
And we just got scattered. So, and also, but that's another reason why I wanted to form the Uptown Community Association, because I don't want Uptown to not have a voice. And Uptown gets a lot of stuff, which is great. We've got a lot of advocates, but I'm not deluded enough to think it's just us. You know, we have developers with money involved. That,
Yeah, no, I think it's great
Yeah.
that Uptown's got its own association.
Mhm.
I think that's
I do too.
definitely.
And we have a, I love it because it's more indicative of our city than some organizations in our city. It's very diverse, like Uptown, so
Right.
it's wonderful.
Right. We're getting back to education
Okay.
again. Let's talk about your district.
Mhm.
What do you think are the top three public education issues facing kids, parents in your district?
Mhm. In my particular district, I mean, it would be the same as what I stated. I'm speaking to my district pretty much whenever I'm looking at this. Safety, blight. Maybe in my district, I might add.
Regarding, so public education, blight, I guess how's that?
Well, perhaps I should restate that. Quality of life.
Okay.
When you're in a neighborhood that is not, doesn't support quality of life, I'll give you an example. When I first bought my home in Uptown, the University of Memphis was doing a study, and they asked a lot of children where a nice neighborhood was, and they pointed to the new houses in Uptown, even though it was in the same neighborhood. And they would ask them questions like, what made that a nice area? Well, it was clean, the sidewalks were nice, you know, and they wanted to be in that neighborhood, and they didn't view their neighborhood as the same.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really sad, and I think it's a psychological, you know. I think we've really got to help our children see that we're not separate, and that your neighborhood can be nice too, and we can work together and do that.
How, as a city council member, would you facilitate something like that?
Probably knowing me just like I am now, I'd probably jump right in there, you know, just, I would love to support any organization in any neighborhood that would help do that. I would support any proposed initiatives that would help facilitate this.
Do you feel the existing city council, their mindset perhaps, do you think they have been focusing on those type of issues?
I'm going to say this from personal experience, and I'm not going to say any names, of course, but I don't think 10 years ago, I don't feel that they were. But I saw several of the city council members come along in the last, I don't know, 4 years maybe. And I initiated, or I was on the original committee, and I finished the artistic bike racks for downtown, and there's some in Uptown, they're all downtown, for the Downtown Neighborhood Association. It took us 10 years to complete our annual project, and a lot of it was because there were people that had the power to help us initiate this, and they didn't understand how it, you know, nobody's going to ride a bike. I mean,
That was their
Right.
response, right?
Right.
They
Nobody's-
weren't, there's no progressive thinking.
correct.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
So that's what I mean by that.
I mean, so, I think what you're talking about a lot, but you're really not addressing it, is poverty in Memphis. I mean, many people say poverty is it's the white elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Do you feel that way?
Though there is a lot of poverty in District 7, but I do feel, and this is why I don't want to call it poverty, because what solves poverty issues are jobs, and I'm a huge proponent of business.
And how can people get jobs they need? There's a connector there.
That's correct.
which is,
And there are a lot of programs
which
that.
is what